Hello and welcome back to the Traveling Yoga Mat. As you can see, today we are in the backyard of my childhood home. And so this is a place that feels very safe and aligned and healing for me. So I thought we could do a flow together to really tie that all in. And I hope that you'll join me today. So let's get started in a comfortable seat. You do not need props today. Find your seat on the ground. Cross your legs if that feels okay. Rest the hands, palms face down on the knees. Visualize drawing the spine up from the crown of the head, relaxing everything around the spine, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the belly just a little bit. Maybe close the eyes here. Scan the inner world. Taking a moment to really collect any information, any data, and not necessarily trying to make anything of it or change the way that it is, but just observing and then maybe releasing these thoughts around how we feel, how we're showing up right now. And just starting with a fresh, clean slate. Notice any sounds around you. Notice any sensations on the skin, and just trace your body with your mind's eye. Just taking careful consideration with great compassion for the body. And then finding that spot that is deeper than that. Maybe you would call it your soul or your center. Just getting in touch with that space there. Witnessing its power, its magnetism, electricity. And then taking a deep breath in and just allowing that to expand and grow. And exhaling, letting it be and exist. And breathing in again, allowing it to expand and grow. Exhaling. Every inhale, visualizing it growing bigger and bigger until it occupies the whole body, the space around you. You're breathing life into it, expanding it even bigger and bigger until you can impact some life around you. And then you grow it as big as feels safe and comfortable. And then you could just let it linger there and let it gather all the goodness from whatever it is encapsulating. Maybe shift the torso around a little bit. Feeling into this force's energy. And then you can reclaim it for yourself. You can breathe it in and invite it back into the body. And maybe you can sense everything that it collected from the world, all the good, and claiming that energy for ourselves. Open the eyes here when you're ready. Notice the colors, the light, the shapes, and the space around you. We'll take some seated cat-cow. So with the hands still rested on the knees, inhale, draw the chest forward, look up. Exhale, draw the chin toward the chest, push the middle of the spine toward the back. Inhaling and moving with your breath always. So if deeper breaths feel better for you today, then slower movement might accompany that. And the opposite can be true. Really giving our bodies, as well as our minds, what they need, what they deserve. Come back up to neutral. Let's take a seated twist. So left hand to right knee, right hand with tented up fingers behind us. Sit tall and breathe in. And exhale, take a gentle twist. You don't even have to really adjust your gaze here. Starting off with our twist, just light and easy. Rooting down through the seat. Growing tall through the spine. And then swivel it back toward the front. Let's take the other side. Breathing in, sit nice and tall, and then exhale, find that twist. Beautiful, coming back. Let's go ahead and stretch the legs out wide. So maybe you scooch a little bit back on your mat. Kick the legs out, flex the toes back, bring the hands to the inside of the legs, just resting them down on the ground, flexing the toes, spread them. Maybe gently internally rotate one hip at a time. And then take turns windshield wiping one foot from side to side. Taking your awareness and your attention to that foot. And then the other. Starting to activate and wake up the ball and socket, hip joints. And then we can start to walk the hands out toward the front of the space. Maybe keeping the hands flat on the ground and using them almost as kickstands for the body. And we can all start here. And as we breathe in, we lead with the chest. Start to tilt the pelvis back. Almost like you're working toward a cow shape with the spine. So a little spinal extension. Crown of the head lifts up. Feel that subtle but intense hip opening here. Take 2 more breaths here. And then, if you're ready for it, we can start to lower, maybe down to the elbows. And you can come all the way down if you're feeling very open through the hips here. Take a few breaths, be present. And just when the mind wants to escape a situation or move on to the next thing, just being aware of that. Start to roll it up. Amazing. Let's bring the right hand on top of the right thigh and reach the left arm up and over. Side body stretch. Start to look up toward the left side, maybe underneath the left arm, or maybe you start to take the gaze up toward the ceiling or the sky. Breathe, take a nice, good inhalation, and maybe bring a smile to the face. And then rising up, let's take it to the other side. When you're ready, setting up, maybe peeling your gaze up and open, stacking the shoulders. start to rise. So beautiful. Okay, let's bring the legs in toward one another, and we're gonna bring the soles of the feet to the mat. So maybe you turn toward the side here. Bring the hands behind you, fingers point toward the back. And then we'll bring the feet about hip width distance, a little space between the hips and the heels, and drop the knees side to side. One side and then the other. Taking your time, maybe spending a little time on one side and then the other. All right, and then resituate those hips on the mat. We're gonna bring the feet in toward the sits bones here. Ground through the finger pads. Spread the hands wide on the mat, including the thumbs. Really press through the fingers, press through the soles of the feet, and lift those hips up. Let's come into a reverse tabletop. And then let's lift the right foot and kick that leg out in front of us, maybe taking your gaze to the toes. Breathe in, and then bend that knee, set it down, and we'll kick the left leg out. Spread the toes, breathe in, and set it down. Nice, lowering the hips. Let's come up off of the hands and roll the wrists out, slow and mindfully. And opposite direction, stretch the fingers. And maybe you massage one wrist at a time. Take it to the palm. And the other. Just some TLC, that's all we ever do here, right? Many different forms of it. And then bring the soles of the feet together, so you're in this butterfly variation. And then we'll bring the thumbs to the arches of the feet. So start to apply some pressure at the base of that arch, right where the heel and the arch meet. And then press into the arch and push up toward the ball of the foot. And then close your eyes here for a moment. Visualize any tension releasing. And then with the fingertips on the tops of the feet, just gently apply pressure with those fingertips in between the tendons of the feet. And always being mindful not to cause any pain or discomfort. Beautiful. All right, release that. Let's bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and then we'll slide on down, coming to our backs here. And right away, let's go ahead and come into a happy baby. So bending at the knees, drawing the soles of the feet to face toward the ceiling or the sky, letting the hips be open, and then grabbing for the outsides of those feet. Draw the knees down toward the earth. Press the spine into the ground. Draw the shoulders down toward the mat. And you can stay right here, or you can roll a little bit from one side to the other. Maybe extend one leg and then extend the other. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together and just pull them in toward the body, bending at the elbows. Nice flat spine on the mat, grounding through the sacrum. Rotate the hips a little bit. Beautiful. Let's bring the knees in toward one another. Hug the arms around the knees. Lift the head up. Make a tight ball. Maybe you press the shins into the forearms, stretching through the entire spine here. And then lower the head down. Let's extend the right leg overhead. Roll the ankle around in a circle. You can relax the arms by the sides. The left knee is still bent up. Nice, and let's reach for the shin or the back of the right thigh here, and just gently drawing that leg in closer toward the body. Gently feeling that stretch in the back of the leg, flex the toes back toward the face. And then we'll set the left foot down, cross right ankle over left thigh. Let's take a figure 4, maybe interlacing the fingers behind the left thigh. Breathe and just appreciate your existence. Maybe gently rocking side to side. No right way to do it. And then we'll drop the sole of the left foot on down. Let's lift the hips and set them off to the left side of the mat and let the legs fall toward the right. Cactus the arms here, if that feels okay. Palms faced up. Maybe the gaze is up, neck is neutral, or maybe you drop the gaze to the left. Take a deep breath in and out. Okay, with the help of the hands, picking the legs back up. Reset the spine. Undo the bind of the legs. Drop the knees left and right. Feet are wide on the mat. Beautiful. Neutral with the legs here, and then let's draw the knees in. Hug the knees, lift the head, give a squeeze, press the shins into the arms here. And then lower down. This time we're gonna extend the left leg. Hands can fall by the sides. Flex and point the left foot, roll the ankle around. And then maybe you take the hands to the back of that left leg and draw the leg a bit closer to the body. Breathe. And then we'll lower the right leg down, cross left over right this time. Pick up the hips, set them to the right, and drop the legs toward the left. Goal posting the arms. Maybe the gaze falls toward the right. Just a few more breaths here. All right, unravel. Help those legs up. Press the hands into the tops of the thighs. Press the middle of the back into the mat. Tilt the pelvis underneath you. And then relax. We're gonna roll off to one side and come up to a seat first, and we'll transition into a tabletop. Wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Bump the hips side to side. Take a breath. And then we'll thread the needle. Inhale, reach the right arm up, open up toward the right side. Exhale, let's thread right arm under left. Rest the head down on the mat. Crawl those left fingertips toward the top of the mat, really feeling that opening of the right shoulder here. And then maybe you walk the left hand back, and then option to drape the arm around the back. Take a few more breaths. Maybe you open up through the left shoulder, taking a bit of a spinal twist, imagining you almost would stack the shoulders. Maybe you want to go for a bit of balancing here, starting to shift the weight over toward the right side, and maybe picking up the left foot, extending that leg behind you. And you can keep the toes on the ground here, or you can start to imagine that you would hover them. Maybe trying that on, see how it feels. And then start to lower when you're ready. Let's bring it all back in, left knee back down. Unbind the left arm, press into the ground, open up. Big, 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 dramatic, and then set it down. Bump the hips left and right, take what you need. Roll the head around. Okay, same thing, other side. Let's inhale, pick the left arm up, open on up. Exhale, thread it through. Firstly, we'll walk the right hand toward the top of the mat. Maybe tense up the fingers, maybe relax the hand on the mat. And then if you want to go for that bind, you can walk the right hand back and drape it behind the back. Maybe challenging one step further, sending those right toes behind you. Hovering that foot if that sounds nice today. And then bring it all back in, slow and steady. Right hand down, open up, exaggerate it, and then set it down. Very nice. Let's tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Heels drop toward the ground, but are still likely hovering over the ground. Spread the fingertips, maybe turn the middle fingers out toward the corners of the mat, allowing the shoulders to open up. Lift the heels high, breathe in, and then exhale, lower them down. Take a deep bend to the knees, look between the hands, and just walk it toward the top of the mat. Take your time getting there, and we'll take a nice forward fold, grabbing for opposite elbows, feet are hip width distance. Maybe sway side to side. Release the bind of the arms. Let's go ahead and step the right foot back. Lower the back knee down, untuck the back toes, and rise up, biceps by ears. We're in a low lunge here. And let's open it up. Drop the left arm, reach the right arm forward. We're gonna twist toward the left side. Take a breath in. And then we'll drop the left arm toward the right thigh, reach the right arm up. Look down toward the ground for balance. Maybe get just a little deeper into your lunge, and you can always heel toe that front foot out just a little bit. Try to keep the pelvis underneath you. Grow tall through the spine. Beautiful. Shift the hips back slightly. Let's straighten out that front leg and then re-tee out those arms. Take a little twist. Hips are still squared forward. And then we'll drop the right hand to the inside of that left leg. Reach the left arm up. The sole of the foot and the ball of the foot are still flat on the mat. Try to plug the left hip in line with the right, and then maybe take your gaze up toward the ceiling. All right, let's drop the left arm, frame the front leg. Let's flex the toes back toward the face. Half splits here. Breathe in and out. A nice little bend to the left knee will protect the backs of the legs. your chest. Exhale and fold. And then we'll start to shift it forward. Bring the foot back to the mat. We're gonna tuck those back toes under us, rise on up. Find some balance here. And then we'll open it up, warrior two. So back foot now parallel to the back edge of the mat. Arms are teed out, looking forward. Hips are opened up toward the right side. Let's drop the left arm down, reach the right arm over. Side angle. Look down toward the mat or take your gaze up. Stacking hips and shoulders. All right, come back up to warrior two with control. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and pivot back to the ball of the back foot, biceps by ears. We're back in high lunge. Lower that back knee, hover it on the mat, and then come on up. Breathe in. Exhale, lower. Come back up. Exhale, lower. Come back up. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and frame the front foot and just step that left foot back to meet the right. Breathe in and out. Inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, lower them. Bending at the knees, look forward. Walk it toward the top of the mat. Forward folding. Opposite bind with the elbows. So opposite grip here. Relax the head and neck. Sway side to side. All right, beautiful. This time we're gonna drop the hands down, bend the knees, step left foot back, drop the back knee, untuck the toes, rise up. Looking in front of you, adjusting the pelvis a little bit so it's underneath you. And then we're gonna drop the right arm, open it up toward the right side. One breath here. And we can revolve, right hand, left thigh, left arm up. Keep the hips squared forward. Beautiful. All right, let's start to shift it back, straightening out that front foot. Ball of the foot still rests on the mat, and then we'll tee out those arms. Take a breath here. And then we'll go ahead and drop the left hand to the mat, reach the right arm up. Feel this twist. Plugging right hip back in line with left. And then let's go ahead and frame the front leg, flex those toes back. Half splits here. Take an inhale, lengthen, and an exhale, fold. All right, starting to walk it forward. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, rise up. High lunge, strong here. And we'll open it up, warrior two. Tee out those arms, strong through your gaze. Keep your focus. Engage the inner thighs, draw them toward one another. And then we'll find side angle. Right arm to right thigh, reach the left arm up and over, maybe look up. Beautiful, rise back up, and then we'll pop back to the ball of that back foot. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, hover that back knee down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, reach up. Last one. And find your high lunge. Beautiful. Breathe one more breath. And we'll frame the front foot. Let's step right foot back to meet left. Downward dog. Pedal out the feet. And then we'll drop down to the knees. Let's bring the knees wide, big toes touch. Stretch the arms out, child's pose. All right, Coming back up when you're ready. Let's go ahead and cross at the ankles, sit back behind the feet, coming back to seated here, switching up the crossing of the legs. Place one hand on the chest and the other on top of that hand. Apply a little pressure to the sternum here. Close the eyes, gentle body scan. Noticing the heart rate. Checking in. Open the eyes, release the arms down, and you can take a few minutes here in a savasana or a meditation. I hope that you enjoyed this practice, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.